spontaneous coronary artery dissection, or SCAD as it's known. And so what a dissection is, I'll start with the D, is when the inner layer of your artery, so I'm going to kind of use my mouse here, this is that smooth inner layer, pulls away from the muscular layer of the arterial wall. And when that happens, you can actually have blood go behind that inner layer and it can pool. And it can pool to the point that it narrows this artery significantly, or it can completely block this artery. So when you have a dissected artery and it's in the heart or feeding the heart on the outside of the heart, that's a spontaneous coronary artery dissection. And so ultimately this will cause angina if it narrows the artery, but if it completely pushes that wall in and it blocks the artery, that will cause a heart attack, meaning there's no blood getting past this blockage. And then the heart muscle beyond that will die. And so it is a cause of a heart attack. It's not very common, as common as the typical heart attack where you get a plaque buildup and then it breaks and then you form a clot. But this does happen, and it does happen more in women than men. These are some of the risk factors for SCAD. So being female is a risk factor. It typically happens, or more commonly happens, for females of childbearing age. And so actually pregnancy is a risk factor. It can happen right during pregnancy, usually later on, or in the first few weeks after delivery. It can happen other times, but those are the more common times that it does happen. So I don't know all the ins and outs of all the pathology, and I'm not sure they do, but I think that hormonal changes in women during this time probably predispose some of that risk factor. Another risk factor is something called fibromuscular dysplasia, which is a condition that causes us to grow irregular growth of cells in artery walls. Again, that's more common in women, so probably another reason that SCAD is more common in women. Inflammatory diseases like lupus and rheumatoid arthritis are a risk factor. Lupus is more common in women. And you think of these inflammation in the lining of the artery walls makes you more prone to have a dissection and tear away that inner layer. Connective tissue diseases. So again, something that actually impacts how our blood vessels are made. Marfan Syndrome is one of them. There's another one, it was really long, so I didn't put it down. Marfan Syndrome actually is more common in men, but women can have it as well. Excessively high blood pressure, extreme physical or emotional stress, which can cause excessively high blood pressure spikes. Stimulant drug use like cocaine or amphetamines can also cause extremely high blood pressure and strain on our blood vessels that could cause them to tear. So these are some of the risk factors. Obviously, the first four are highly driven into females, and obviously the last three could be related to men or women. So men can have it, women definitely have it more often. And I've seen it in the hospital, and it's kind of a sad situation when it does happen. I'm not going to go into treatments and diagnosis and all that kind of stuff. I just want you to know what SCAD is.